Welcome back to another episode of Energy 101. I feel like today is an extra special episode because, as all of our lovely viewers and listeners know, Empower is coming up, our energizing Bitcoin conference. So today we are learning about Bitcoin.
All right.
And Bitcoin mining.
We better call somebody who knows what they're talking about.
I know. This is our friend Justin Ballard from
Hello.
Martin Legal Group. He is a fellow Bitcoin bro, great friend of Digital Wildcatters, and we've just coined the term the Bitcoin lawyer. So
I like it.
Stay tuned for that new Twitter handle.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks
I'm
for
glad
being
to be
here.
And yeah, we're not competition, right? We're all on the same team here. So
Yeah.
We are.
yeah,
on the
we
same
are
team.
vying for.
Mhm.
As we discussed, we want to break over the
Yeah.
10 viewer
Mhm.
threshold, right?
Wait, I feel like we should say you're also a co-host of
Yeah.
our newest podcast,
Yes, you're
Energizing
right.
Bitcoin.
Which I love, and thank
Crossover.
you guys for setting us up with that. So it's
Yeah.
been great. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it quite a bit.
Good. Love it.
We are going to kick off the episode with a fun game.
Another
So,
one.
Another one. Here we go again. If you saw our last episode, you know what's about to happen. So we all have 4 cups. One of them has a shot of whiskey. We don't know who has it. And so we're all just going to down the shot. The point of the game is to not make a face.
Is
I
this
feel like
like
this
drink
is
the
a
shot.
setup, but just letting everyone know, I feel like there's a setup.
It's
I feel
not a
like
setup.
I'm going to get hosed here.
You can't
but-
prove that.
All right. I can't prove that. You're right.
is
all
this
right.
like a thing now, Jules? For our
This is a
podcast?
thing.
Okay.
Every episode, every guest that comes on, this is what we're doing.
I hope our episodes or our viewers or listeners are different because I'm going to steal this from you guys. I think it's
You
a great
should.
idea.
You can.
You should.
Yeah. All right. Good.
It's
All
a little
right.
So what do we do?
icebreaker.
Are we
Cheers
going
or
one
what
by
do we do?
one? Or we just
Oh, how about we
cheers
just
it?
cheers it?
Cheers.
All right.
Okay.
Let's just cheers it because we'll clip it
Yeah.
one by one.
All
All right.
Cheers.
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 All right. Yeah. This is set up. This is set up. I know it.
Wait, do you need Coke? Oh, do
No,
you,
I'm good.
Is
I'm
it
good.
some
I
chaser
got,
thing?
I got
Oh,
my
yeah.
mimosa by Alani.
We did come prepared with the
Honestly,
soda.
that's what I had when I spit out the tequila, and I can't drink that anymore. It tastes like tequila. It
Really?
burns. Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't ruin it for me. Because Alani's delicious. I don't know if they want to sponsor anybody on the show
Alani's.
here, but
Sponsor our podcast.
I know. I'm a big
well, thank you.
fangirl of Alani.
They are delicious. Have you had the?
I follow the people.
have
She
you
just had a baby.
Oh, really? I didn't know. You know way more about it than I do.
I know.
Have you had the cherry slush one?
It tastes like
It's
medicine.
disgusting.
It tastes like the icy to me.
No.
I love it.
Wait, have y'all tried the new peach one?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
There's
is it good?
it tastes exactly like a peacho.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The
Yeah.
That's
blueberry
pretty good.
one is the best flavor.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very
I
good.
disagree.
I'm biased.
I love the cherry rush or cherry slush.
Ugh.
I'm not
medicine.
a cherry
It's delicious.
person.
I don't
Oh.
like any
don't-
of the slushy flavors. They're
man.
too
They're
sweet.
too sweet, yeah.
I've drank. I'm not gonna lie. I've drank like 3 or 4 of those in one day before. It's pretty bad.
Same.
Yeah, it's
Last Friday,
completely
Did you have a
unhealthy.
heart attack?
No, not that time. But if I keep it up, that probably
Maybe.
not with Alani though. Again, those
We're gonna
they're heart
put this
attack proof.
together.
Yeah.
So,
Last Friday, I had like 3, and I was acting like a full-on crackhead.
yeah.
So
yeah.
You kind of were.
I think I scared everyone in the office. They were like, "It's time for you to go home." So
It ended
they're
with us
addictive.
putting weekly dance party
Oh.
on the official GW calendar.
Nice.
and today,
You're
You're
gonna be
here
here
for
for
a
wow,
voluntary
this
has
is
to be a part
multiple
of
You can
it.
setups
do-
in one day.
You can do more of those cartwheels.
I am super old and cannot dance or do cartwheels. And
You
barely
can't-
can take shots apparently. So ugh,
we should
gosh.
probably start talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Let's
right,
dive into it.
We're gonna like stitch him together with Empower, like all of our Alanis. We're gonna get sponsored
Oh,
at some
yeah,
point.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Between Alani and Uchi, I talk about Uchi the restaurant constantly. Like they need to sponsor our show.
Mhm.
You
They
talked
do.
about it last time.
Yes, I love Uchi.
Yeah.
I've tried to get you guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love Uchi. I am always down.
It's the bomb.
Omakase all day.
I'm reaching out to them about sponsoring
Isn't
shows.
it sushi?
I
Yeah.
feel left out
It's-
because everyone talks about how amazing it is, and
Uchi's
I've never
incredible.
been there.
It's incredible.
Justin will take you.
yes,
Yeah.
we'll go to Uchi. I will.
Can we?
I'm gonna take all you guys.
You guys hear that?
Yeah. I'll
We
take
got it on
all you
camera.
guys.
Heard it
We're
here
all going to
first.
Uchi. Yes, especially if Uchi wants to sponsor.
That is
anybody.
on the record.
Yeah.
That is on the record. There is no
It
going
is.
Uchi,
back.
the official sushi partner of Digital Wildcatters.
Yes, I like it. Oh, man, that'd be
Julie's
dope.
like, I don't eat sushi.
Can we get a chicken?
I was
finger?
gonna respond. There's like
Yes.
3 people in our office that eat
Canes.
sushi. Julie has the food palate of a child.
I only eat chicken and beef.
chicken tenders and grape soda, right?
Yeah.
Nothing
They have
wrong
chicken
with
and
it.
beef, though. You don't have to eat fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could do that.
We'll hook
I've
you up.
actually never tried sushi, so I should probably like.
You
The
never
Wagyu
tried it?
hot rock.
Yes.
Is unreal.
Is it spicy?
No, it's just perfect.
No,
Okay.
but it's like the hot rock and you like grill it on
Oh.
hot rock.
You cook your meat on it.
Yeah. They have like
Sorry, that sounds
Julie's got Julie's got the taste palate of a 12-year-old. You have the jokes of a 12-year-old.
Mm.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Scratch that. We gotta cut that out of there.
Justin and I are obviously the most mature
Yes.
people here.
I mean,
Oh my
I
God.
gotta agree.
That was a
with
good
Sydney.
one.
I couldn't help myself, honestly, because you were confused. So, I mean, you put the meat on the rock. Okay, that's enough.
Well, stay tuned for the special follow-up episode live on location at Uchi. Julie
Yes.
tries sushi for the first time.
Maybe.
We have to.
Yeah.
This is what
the
the viewers want.
The people want it.
The people want
The
it.
people are asking for it.
Okay.
They want sushi ASMR.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Man, I feel old. I don't know what ASMR is. I've heard of it, but I don't really.
I
even
don't know what it
is.
stands for, but it's just like
It's like
this.
weird noises and
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
ew.
My dad
We're gonna
does
lose
that.
like all our viewers right there.
I know.
I don't like that.
My dad and mom are in town from Minnesota, and they're staying with us for
Oh.
like 3 months.
That's
I
a
love
long
them
time.
to death. Like they're awesome. But my dad eating yogurt is one of the grossest things anyone has ever witnessed in their life. I promise you. It's disgusting. I love you,
Great.
Dad. I love
Great.
you, but man,
Learn how to
not
eat
when you eat
yogurt.
yogurt. So sorry.
Very
Let's get to
specific.
Bitcoin.
Let's
Right.
get into Bitcoin. So I think first things first, we had already told you like kindergartner level.
All right.
If you were explaining to a kindergartner, a level below that
Mhm.
for the
Like
people.
your kids. Like you
Like your
explain it
kids,
to
yeah.
your son.
Right.
So let's start off with the most important question. What is Bitcoin?
Oh, all right. And that's actually
In its
really
most
scary
basic
for me,
form.
right? I would describe it as Bitcoin is literally like it's a peer-to-peer payment system,
Mhm.
right? So like think of it as when you go, I went and got my haircut today. It looks super fresh and clean, right? Especially for
Yeah.
40-something-year-old
Great.
dude. I'm like, oh,
Great. You
cool.
go to Uchi tonight
I
or
still
something?
have hair.
You
Yeah,
got a
I'm going to
nice
Uchi
fade
tonight.
up or
Right.
what?
Got the low skin fade from Vinny's Barbershop. Vinny's Barbershop is incredible. They're up in the Woodlands area. If you guys want to sponsor our show, that'd be great. So like I go there, I get my haircut. If I wanted to pay them with my credit card, I'm
Mhm.
going to end up getting a fee from
Mhm.
Visa or whoever it may be. Say 5%, right? And it
Yeah.
actually was 5% on my charge today. If I'm paying with Bitcoin, I'm basically removing that middleman
Mm-hmm.
and I can go peer to peer. So
Mhm.
person to person, business to business, whatever. So it's basically a way to cut out these middlemen, which obviously saves money, but also allows it to be more of a one-on-one transaction where I don't have anyone or anything interfering with my ability to buy
Right.
whatever I want. So
Right.
in essence, like that is the simplest form of what I would describe Bitcoin as, is like a peer-to-peer payment system.
Right.
Is there a way to separate it from like the fiat system? Like, is there a way to like value a Bitcoin if you're not looking at, how USD?
Yeah. So Bitcoin is always going to be denominated in the currency where you're like located at, right?
Mhm.
So like, we look at, we're in dollars, but if we were in Russia, it would be what rubles or whatever theirs is, or the yuan in China. So that's how it'll be denominated in wherever your location is at, wherever you're at, that's how they denominate it. Which is kind of nice because it allows it to really be really universal across the board. So Bitcoin has its value and it's determined based on, what your currency is, where you're at. But I can pay, the equivalent in USD to whatever currency yuan in China. I can pay it in USD to you in there, but it's Bitcoin. And so it's the same amount either
Right,
way.
right.
So really wherever you're at is what it's going to be denominated in. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's tied to the fiat system in that, but from a pricing standpoint only. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. My kids who are older than kindergarten would not understand that. But
So I know like this math is not going to be right,
Mhm.
but for the sake of the conversation, if one Bitcoin is worth $20,000
mhm,
and you're going to pay in Bitcoin, but your haircut is $10,
right.
that seems very cheap. I don't know how much men's
Mhm.
haircuts are.
Mhm.
And you
That's
pay in
very cheap.
Bitcoin, it's whatever one
Right. Okay. So
100 millionth of a Bitcoin.
right. So
that you pay.
Bitcoin is made up of Satoshis. All right. So Satoshis is like the denomination of, I think it's 100 million Satoshis make up one Bitcoin.
Oh, like
right?
cents to dollars.
Right. Right. And so that's what's in a Bitcoin. I
Okay.
can't remember what the number is. I'll go look it up.
Doesn't matter. But
yeah, whatever it is.
the concept is there.
So Satoshis make up like cents in a dollar. Right. So theoretically, in my mind, over time, what will happen is when things start to convert more and more to Bitcoin because it becomes more of an accepted and adopted currency, then you'll be pricing things in Satoshis. And that's how you'll pay people. So, hey, my haircut might be 10 Satoshis. And so I go there and I can take my Strike account and I can send it over to the guy who's cutting my hair. And
isn't Satoshi the guy that
invented
it?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Which could be a guy, a group, whatever.
Oh, we don't really know. It's like a mystery, right?
Right. So it's a big mystery.
Well, so how do
it's
you...
like Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
That's what I always compare it to. Gossip Girl.
That's perfect. How do you like send someone a Bitcoin? Do you have to have a ledger?
You don't have to have it. Ledger is more for taking it off the exchanges or like holding it yourself.
Is that like a bank account?
It's like a bank, right?
Oh,
it's like I'm storing my Bitcoin off of the exchange. You don't want to have it on exchange. I'm gonna get into that too with you guys, but you don't want to leave it on an exchange. You got to take it off.
Okay.
Otherwise, you don't actually have a Bitcoin. And that's what happened with FTX, and I'll go into that. But we'll get to there.
Interesting.
But basically, a ledger is your wallet. Okay. So you hear people talk about a wallet, like get your Bitcoin off.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing.
It's like a device, a little device.
It's like a USB thing, if you want to think of it that way.
Yeah. Right. And I use a Treasure. So it's a little, black piece of plastic, and it's got, a touch screen on it, and you have like a seed code or seed phrase, which is basically these magic words that get you into your account. And so that's what makes it really safe.
That sounds
right?
like high tech.
Right.
Yeah.
You
and if you lose those little
don't
words,
lose them. Right. Don't lose them. Don't lose them.
Yeah.
You can get like a steel card and literally put your seed phrase in it. And then put that away somewhere safe so you don't lose it. But that's how you store it. Right. But to pay peer to peer, Strike's the easiest one, and it's a great platform. And I can go scan either a QR code from the vendor or whoever wants to accept the Bitcoin and send them directly exactly how much.
It's like the equivalent to Cash App, right?
Right. It's like a Cash App for
Bitcoin,
the Lightning Network.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a great, useful platform or tool, whatever you want to call it. I've used it in El Salvador, and it's great. I love it. They have the Chiva wallet, but you can use Strike down there too. So that's when I go down there.
So like when you go into any place in El Salvador, they always accept Bitcoin,
Any place that does it. Most of places are accepting it. They're still, and I talked about this on one of our episodes. We had Marto Tochez on one of our episodes. It's it takes time. And like they've gotten a lot of grief for like things not being perfect yet with the system. You're implementing the first country in the world to implement something like this.
Right.
It's very difficult.
It's huge.
Right? It's a big move.
Yeah.
And so it takes time, and there's going to be hiccups. But yes, I've went down there. The second time I went down there, I only used Strike. That's all I used. And I was fine the whole time. So
wow.
It's progressing, and yeah, I love that place.
You guys should go and do a live podcast from there.
We want to do a little documentary.
Oh,
right.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. I'd like to do one like a Bitcoin law year review, because they're about over a year past now the implementation of it.
Right.
And I would like to go down there and do like a documentary on like how it has impacted the country and what kind of growth they think they're going to see going forward. Because when you think about it, sorry, this might not be 101 technically, but when you look at it from a standpoint of what is it providing for the people down there? When the biggest, I guess, part of their GDP, one of the biggest parts of their GDP, if not the largest, is remittances. So people leaving El Salvador, but sending money back to the country from the U.S. or wherever they're at. U.S. and Australia have kind of the two biggest populations of El Salvadorans outside of El Salvador. Well, they send money. They work there. They send money from there to El Salvador. That's like a huge part of their GDP. when you were using like Western Union or any of those type of services, they're taking a huge
Fees.
chunk.
A lot
The
of
fees
fees.
are
Right.
enormous.
Yeah.
And so having Bitcoin as an option to send it via Strike or some other, the Chivo wallet or whatever, you're saving so much money for the people. Like that's coming out of their money.
Right.
And that's why I get so frustrated when people talk about like the energy consumption, because there's like so many things in our world that use a lot more energy that are a
That
lot
don't provide
lower
as much value.
Exactly. They don't provide that kind of value for people that need that value. You know what I mean? And I do feel the tide turning right now. I was talking to Colin in there about just kind of the view of like energy consumption and like EV, electric vehicles and all that. And people starting to actually, I've heard more and more people talking about the environmental impacts of lithium mining and all the different type of activities that go on into green technologies. People are starting to realize like, hey, that's not all perfect, right? There's some real humanity and human rights issues with the mining activities and kind of what goes on development of like electric vehicles and solar panels. Our phones.
Like
Right.
cobalt is in
Right.
everything, and they're
Right.
literally slaves.
Yeah,
They're
are.
kids.
Have you seen some of those videos? Of literally, like,
it's
terrible.
so sad.
Terrible.
There, if y'all haven't listened to the Joe Rogan episode with, do you know his name?
I don't. I literally listened to it the other day, and I can't remember.
I don't know either, but he did one on. He went into what country?
It was an African country. I can't remember which one it was either. But
Congo.
Congo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and he went in there and he got to see firsthand how people mine for cobalt, and it is insane. Yeah, there's women out there with like babies on their back, breathing in all of that, and that's so we can have this.
Yeah.
So we can
and we get
have
new ones
EVs
every year.
and,
Every other year, we're getting a new phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
why is no one talking about that?
Yeah, like why are we going after oil and gas companies and not like Apple?
Right. But see that I do feel the tide turning a little bit. I feel people like that episode.
Yeah.
I love Joe Rogan. Like I think he. I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick. Okay, I feel like this is actually my second shot, so like it don't take much in my. I honestly think comedians are like the last bastion of truth tellers. They're like the
100%.
modern day prophets that we have. You know what I mean? And
they say what everyone else is too scared to say.
yes, they do. And it's like, and that's actually what court jesters were originally. They were intended to be able to tell the king or the ruler kind of the truth, right? And the perspective of the people.
Make it like
funny, and do it in a funny way, and they laugh. But it was like, I'm conveying a message from the people to you. And so that's I think Joe Rogan and like Dave Chappelle and all these guys they're so important to like our society's development. Yeah. And they're the ones that can get away with like saying the things that none of us could ever say.
Right.
And it's remarkable to me. It's like Joe Rogan's getting out messages like he's getting out. So but anyway, back to the Bitcoin talk. Where was I at? You're gonna have to bring me back.
Wait, I have a conversation. So how easy or like accessible is Bitcoin? Like how easy is it to go buy Bitcoin?
Great question. And actually that would lead into the FTX stuff also. It's not as easy as people think. And I do believe a part of the next bull run is going to be this issue, is that FTX, basically what they're doing is they're selling opportunity like crypto. Okay. They also sell Bitcoin. I don't put them in the same classification, and I'll explain that why. Yeah, I'll tell you in a sec. But they're telling you, look, buy these coins from me, right? Keep them on the exchange. We'll have your money. We'll send you, we're going to show you in your account that you have X number of Bitcoin. And then they're using the funds that you just sent them to go leverage themselves against something else, right? Then what happened was they are not backed up by like a bank is from the FDIC.
I was going to say banks do the same thing.
Banks do the exact same thing. They do.
But they're not.
Banks, I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but they, like, if you really look at it, they operate almost like a Ponzi scheme to me.
Yeah.
And
leveraging money
Right.
that's not yours.
Right. And so, and they prevent like a run on them by saying, well, you're not allowed to take out more than X number of dollars today.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's going to take a certain amount of days to get your money over there. Right. And so these exchanges don't get that luxury. So like FTX is out there like selling Bitcoin, and send you an account and they show you you got all this Bitcoin in your account. They're supposed to have that amount of Bitcoin that they're holding.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Obviously, FTX was not. In fact, I think they only had 1.1 Bitcoin total.
What?
Total.
What?
On their reserves. And so that's, I keep telling people, and they're like, oh,
I
man.
didn't know that. That's
Wait,
insane.
so is it like when
insane.
people were trying to pull their money out,
Right.
it didn't exist?
It didn't exist.
Yay.
Oh, damn.
Yes. And so that's where I'm like, Bitcoin's not the problem on this. FTX,
No.
it
Right.
actually shows
It's
you
human.
Bitcoin's good.
Mhm.
Like they lied about how much Bitcoin
Right.
they had. And
Yeah.
so that was the problem. They actually did not have what they said they had. We're backing it all with all this Bitcoin. The reality is they had virtually none. And so what the difference on those is that Bitcoin is actually truly decentralized.
Mhm.
Like there's not a CEO, there's not an owner, there's not a group that gets to dictate, rules or what's going to happen. It
So
takes
no
a
room for
consensus.
human corruption.
Right. There's no room for corruption.
Yeah.
And so that's what sets it apart from the rest of these other ones is that it's a lot harder to buy. It's a fixed supply. There's
Mhm.
21 million that will ever be in existence. And so
how did those get
I was
there?
just going to ask
right,
that.
right.
Also, the happening. We should.
Yeah, we will
Go
definitely
into
touch on the
that.
halving. So, so when Satoshi created Bitcoin, whether it be a guy or a group or however it is, basically he established there's 21 million Bitcoin ever that will exist. A certain amount of those are released every day, and that's where the miners come into play,
Okay.
right? So
Mhm.
miners are on the network. We got S9 here. It's running, and it's got terahash, which terahash is the measurement of the processing power of the computer. I think this is probably doing like 13 and a half terahash a day, right? That's how many terahash this machine would do. The newer machines are doing significantly more, 10 times that. So, or more. But so that's how you measure your processing power of this. And you're paid a certain amount of Bitcoin per terahash that's contributed to the network. Well, every day there's a fixed supply of Bitcoin that is mined,
Mhm.
right? So I can't remember the number started out. I think it was 50 or something around there.
Mind meaning like released?
Right.
Okay.
And they're released per block. Okay. So a block, you've heard blockchain, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Per block is made up of thousands of transactions a day, right? So per block that is solved by one of these miners, if that miner solves it today, you get 6.25 Bitcoin. If this machine solved it, you'd get 6.25 Bitcoin. People don't want to take the risk though of this one machine, because think of how many machines there are in the world mining
Mhm.
Bitcoin. Millions. The chances of this machine winning that Bitcoin is like,
Very slim.
Slim.
it might be less than winning the lottery.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
sounds
it's-
like a puzzle game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an algorithm, right?
Yeah.
And it's trying to guess this number. The first one that guesses it gets the Bitcoin. The rest of them validate that. And if they validate it, then it's like, all right, this block is done. It's going to go onto the blockchain. It's
Mm.
going to go onto the ledger, the public ledger that Bitcoin is. Boom. It connects it. They all validate it. This machine would get 6.25 Bitcoin. Because you don't want to try to run the risk of, I'm running this machine. I'm paying for the power every day.
Right.
If I don't win, I'm just losing money.
Wasting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I go and I join a mining pool. And a mining pool is basically like a group of, if you were in a gold field, right? You're in a gold mine, right? I can only mine like 1 acre a day, we'll say.
Yeah.
Well, the chances of me hitting some gold mine are very low, right? But if I got like, all right, us four in here. All right, guys, tell you what if if one of us hits something, we'll split it up equally.
Like on
Mhm.
holes,
Right.
except the little boys don't get anything.
Right. Yeah. Totally. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. My daughter loves that movie, by the way. So you go and we're all going to share in the profit then. It's like, all right, well, you did 2 acres today. You did 1 acre. You did 5. I did half an acre.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. So you're going to get the biggest pool. If we hit, right, you get more because you mined more.
Mm.
same way with the Bitcoin mining pool is that I contribute 100 terahash, you contribute 10, 10, and 10. Well, I get a bigger chunk of that. So like I get of the Bitcoin that pool is paying out, they're taking the risk that like one of us is going to hit.
Right.
And so they're going to pay us a certain amount for just contributing our terahash, our processing power to them. And so if one of these hit, they get the 6.25 Bitcoin, but they distribute it out to us based upon what we contributed through our machines.
Is there a reason for you ever just to like, does anyone just ever not join a pool?
Yes. And
People
in fact,
do?
last year there was like 2 or 3 blocks hit in a row where it was like people not in a pool.
Random. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I would love to find out what kind of machine it was. I can't remember. I don't know if
it wasn't even a
like if it was an S9 or something.
Yeah.
Somebody hitting it. And
but it's almost like high risk, high reward.
yeah.
So
Right.
they
Totally.
got all of it.
Yeah. So those people got 6.25 Bitcoin for hitting that block. So,
Like 6 Bitcoin. 6 and a
excuse
fourth.
me, 6.25. All that
Okay.
freaking whiskey. And
So
mimosa.
you plug
It wasn't Holani's fault though.
the machine in and it connects to the network.
The Bitcoin network.
The Bitcoin network, and it just runs. Do you
24/7.
Does someone have to like, do
I
anything, or
have
it just
so many
runs?
questions with that
I
because
have
we
so
went
many
to go
questions.
set up this miner.
Mhm.
We have that big box
Yeah,
upstream.
the black box.
Yeah.
Upstream
Yes,
data.
Upstream data.
I
It's
love
in
my
my
boy Steve
backyard.
Barber. It's a wonderful product.
So it's in my backyard.
Mhm.
And by the way, my landlord the other day, because we rent our house, she was like, "Hey, I noticed a new little structure in the backyard," and I'm like, "Don't mind us."
You guys are getting pickleball courts and freaking black boxes in the backyard. These McLennans over here.
I know.
Golly. Jeez, troublemakers.
Anyway, we were going to set it up, and I'm like, "But like how?" So I think we joined maybe Brains.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm
right.
like, okay, I get the interface. I get that. How does that machine then connect? And maybe you find it through some kind of like, I don't know.
Brains is probably the software you're using on
Yeah.
it.
So you have to have a software.
Right. A lot of them will come with like
Don't they have a pool?
firmware.
They have a
They'll-
slush pool.
Yeah, slush pool is that's right. Brains has a slush pool. So slush pool is what you guys are using then. Okay, yeah.
I think.
Right.
Sorry, Luxor.
It must be.
Or whoever else.
Luxor's great. Foundry's great. I'm friends with both of them. I love them. All good dudes. All good dudes. Ethan, Jeff, Cam, all those dudes. They're good guys. All of them.
Sponsor our podcast.
Yeah, sponsor our podcast. But yes, so you guys were part of Slush Pool. The Slush Pool was, I believe, the largest pool for a while. Foundry's now the largest pool.
Okay.
Luxor's continuing to grow, but yeah, you join a pool. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're wanting to actually make it a business, you got to join a pool.
How
That's
do
what I
you
was gonna
connect your
ask.
miner?
Oh,
Sorry.
How do you? Literally, like you plug these in. They come already pre-set up with like some firmware, or software.
Right.
And
Okay.
you can add to it and you can change it. We used some Avalon machines and some Bitmain machines. We actually did not, when I was at Jay, we did not have any What's miners, but we went in and we utilized Brains as well. We also used some stock software and firmware for a while, but yeah, I mean it's really pretty simple. They
So
just
it
come
has the
they
software
come
all-
pre-wired
Okay.
for it, and
and if you win, you get alerted, and you're like,
Mhm.
"Hey, you won."
Yeah, that's what I'm like. How do Bitcoin companies stay afloat if they're not selling miners or developing software? You're just taking the chance that your miner's gonna hit the lottery.
well, no, because you joined the pool. So the
Oh,
pool will
okay.
pay you out every day. So
Oh.
and they pay you per terahash. So right now, and there's actually a hash price index that Luxor has out. And it will kind of show you, like, I haven't checked what it is right now, but say around 7 cents, 8 cents is probably my guess. We had a little, price bump in the last few days. But they pay you per terahash,
Mhm.
like 8 cents, whatever the market, and that market is dictated by the Bitcoin price,
Mhm.
but also the difficulty. And
Mhm.
that's something else we can get to. So I know.
Jesus, this
It's
is
the
gonna have to be like
difficulty
a
of
5-part.
I know.
Yeah.
The difficulty of solving the block.
The difficulty is based on how many miners are on the network, like how much terahash is being
Oh.
contributed. So when you hear
Oh.
record hash rate, that's the difficulty rate going up. And so
just more miners coming.
So there's
Right.
less of a chance that you're going to hit it.
And so the more miners that come on, because remember, there's a fixed supply of Bitcoin every
Right.
day. So like
Mhm.
there's 900 a day right now. So 900 a day split up between however many terahash in the world are contributing to the network, right? So the more people that come on, you got more terahash coming on. So then your price or your price per terahash goes down. And so what happened over the last like year, 2 years, is that Bitcoin's price starts tanking, but the difficulty factors keeps going up. And a lot of that has to do right now because there was so many groups that were buying machines, big bulk mass numbers of machines that take several months to get in. Well, they bought them during the bull market.
Mm.
And then by the time they got them, price had dropped. Well, they still got to bring them online. And so they bring them online. So your hash rate goes up while your profitability is going down. It's a double whammy.
This
you
makes
know?
my brain hurt.
So
It's
Just
very
have
much like
so-
oil and gas.
Every
I
time you say
know.
something, I'm like, I have 10 more questions.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
is
okay.
this 101?
No, it's good.
Like, is this
It's
good enough for 101? I mean,
I have learned a lot.
I
Just-
have a question about taking it to the oil and gas side.
I was just going to say, let's
Yeah.
roll in.
Mhm.
Whenever, so let's say a company, they want to, make their stranded gas.
yeah,
Do this.
yeah, do this.
So instead of
this.
flaring
Whatever
it,
they're going to mitigate their flare by generating electricity on site, and we monetize that electricity.
Okay,
utilizing
so
Bitcoin.
the company does
Oh.
usually, do the operators want to monetize, or is it like they want to sell it to?
Right. So it's a mix,
Okay.
but for the most part, right now where we're at in this cycle or in the stage of the industry, I would say most groups just want to sell that flare gas. They want to mitigate
And let
the
miners
flare. Right,
buy it.
right. And they're like, look, we don't want to get into Bitcoin mining. Okay, we don't care. We just don't want to flare. And if we can monetize that gas by not flaring, great, we'll do it.
so they're selling it.
So they'll sell the gas. So typically what I'm doing a lot of right now is gas purchase agreements with operators where I just, I'm working with miners. We go in, negotiate a deal with the operator, and we start buying the gas from the operator.
And then do they have their mine on location
Usually it's on location.
I was
the,
just
by
gonna
the
ask
flare?
that.
Right, by the flare stack. So
Where's the, okay, this is like a oil and gas question, but where's a flare? Like is it on the, what structure is it on?
it's usually just offsetting the pad somewhere. Like it's
While you're drilling?
while you're drilling and then after production, after you're
Okay.
in production.
And so the
line.
gas has to go somewhere.
Right.
And prior to this, it was just
burn.
burned.
Have you
Or
ever like
vented.
driven
Yeah.
to Pasadena or Deer Park and all the
Flare, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
see flares all the time, but I was wondering more like, yeah, are they associated with like rigs or
Mhm.
pump jacks or all the above
All
or
the above.
wellhead or
All the above.
The
And
plants?
most of them right now
Plants?
are wellhead.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them right now
Wellhead,
are
okay.
wellhead. But as oil and gas operators continue to kind of grow their knowledge in it,
Mhm.
which this show could be a big part of, right?
Right.
Because honestly, what you guys are asking is no different than what I get asked from some of the very high up folks at oil and gas companies. Like they ask me the
Yeah.
same type of thing. So it's not, I mean, none of these are dumb questions at all. It's very legitimate that this is part of the education time. You know what I mean? Like the industry, we're so early in it still that these are legitimate questions that people just need to know that it's not, number one, it's not this like crazy operationally intensive thing that's going to interfere with your oil and gas operations. Like this is something very simple that we can set up, and it's actually very much something that they've been doing for years.
Right.
There's been natural gas electric generators, well,
Mhm.
natural gas generators that generate electricity on site for 20 years at
Right,
least.
yeah.
So this is not like a novel concept. There's some groups out there that are trying to pretend that they invented this. The reality is natural gas generators have been around for a long time.
yeah.
Now all you're doing is you're plugging in computers and to
Right.
generate or to utilize that electricity
Instead of
rather
whatever else.
wellhead equipment or
Yeah.
like saltwater disposal pumps, whatever it may be. It's not really a novel concept. So once the operators, the oil and gas operators start to understand that more and on a bigger scale, they're going to pour into it because it's the easiest
Right.
way to mitigate a flare that I've ever seen.
Well, and they get to make money because I
Right.
feel like if they're plugging that they're using that electricity for something that's already on site, you know,
Mhm.
better for the environment, mitigating the gas, et cetera. But they're not getting paid for that.
Right.
I
How
feel
do you-
like.
Oh,
Sorry, Jules. Go ahead.
No, just how do you determine the price? Like you're gonna go up
right.
the
Good
gas.
question.
Mm.
It's a good question. Not a dumb question.
Not a
Another
dumb-
one. You guys
We
are
ask
not
smart
asking
questions
me.
around
you
here.
got good
We
questions.
do.
Yeah. No,
We ask
these
the
are all
smart
good.
questions, so you don't have to
Smart
say
women.
Because Bitcoin is very competitive, mining is very competitive. Like one of the biggest inputs you need to factor in when you're trying to create a mine or mining company is your cost of power. That's your biggest OpEx number. So it's 80 to 90% of your OpEx of your OpEx is your cost of power. The lower your power costs, the more you can stay competitive. So like right now we're in this low profitability time frame of Bitcoin mining. So you need your cost of power to be as low as possible so your margins are bigger.
Mhm.
Well, Bitcoin mining or flare gas mining is one of the cheaper ways to do it because there's no other use for that gas really.
Right,
And
right.
so I'm buying it from you where you would normally be just burning it off and getting nothing out of it, like you mentioned. And so that's what makes it really attractive. And so groups like Giga Energy that own their own generators, I mean, they're getting a super low cost of power. And that allows them, when all the other miners, when profitability drops and somebody's mining at 5-6 cents, they're mining at 2,
Right.
3,
Mm.
And so it's like, we hit this profitability break even right here. Well, they can keep operating because they're down here. These other folks are like, we got to operate at a loss or we got to shut in.
Yeah.
And so it's very much like oil and gas in that regard too. It's almost the same business as oil and gas. And I'm gonna give you my analogy, and I bet anybody who like actually cares what I have to say is gonna be like, I've heard this freaking dude say this a million times.
It's going to be your
I'm gonna get
Bitcoin
it
lawyer Twitter
tattooed.
bio.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's a great idea, Sydney. I like that. I'm gonna do that too.
You're welcome.
Man,
My PR
I was
services are
gonna say
available.
you must be a PR marketing gal. So oil and gas is a wellbore producing hydrocarbons that you sell for USD. Bitcoin mining is an ASIC instead of a wellbore. You produce terahash that you sell for Bitcoin. Both one of those industries, you want to be the lowest cost operator to produce a barrel or the lowest cost operator to produce a Bitcoin. And so it's like, this is the same business. It's the
Right.
same business. You don't need geology as much, but other than that, it's like, man, this is ideal. The geology in this is finding the cheapest asset, right? The cheapest asset that I can produce a Bitcoin in. So, and that's electricity. So, flare gas mining is a great way to do that. And on top of that, you have the environmental benefit, right? So,
I feel like this is really like making it all come together for me because I
Yeah.
feel like
Same.
obviously before I started here, like I knew what Bitcoin was. Like I'd heard of Bitcoin mining, didn't get it. Still until literally right now, didn't fully understand why oil and gas
Give myself
companies
a
like
thank
mission you should
Accomplished.
or like how it was directly related to energy. Like I feel like I knew that it had something to do with the flare gas, but I feel like someone needed to spell it out. Extra gas, I'm having a stroke. Creates electricity, plug it in
right.
to the miner, everyone wins, except if you don't hit.
Right.
Whatever.
They
But
You're a
again,
loser.
that's why you join a mining
Yeah.
pool like Foundry or Luxor.
Exactly.
Shout
Sponsor our
out again.
podcast.
Right, correct.
Love that.
This has been very interesting.
Now we're going to go into Empower.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just
Put
ready
me on
to
the panel.
go.
Put me on the Bitcoin 101
Yes.
panel.
Yeah.
You know
For
what?
real.
Y'all should have one of those. That wouldn't be a bad
Well,
idea.
shameless plug. If anyone listening, whether you know about Bitcoin mining or not, at Empower, we are having some 101 sessions on Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. So if
And
you
how it
come,
ties to the
we won't be
energy.
teaching.
We will not be teaching, but so you can come and they'll be at the beginning of every day, so you can kind of get that base knowledge like we just did. So that as you're sitting at these panels with people like Justin, you're not completely fucking lost.
There's also a
Like I
Lightning
would
Network
be.
101, which
Yes.
we didn't really
that is
touch
great.
on. But
That's great.
yeah.
Definitely do that. That'll be very beneficial to a lot of people because we don't, like a lot of people are like, I don't understand Bitcoin. I'm like, do you understand Visa? Do you really understand how it works? I don't. I have no
Do you
idea.
have to?
Yeah.
Like,
I just swipe the card
I just
and
swipe it and I don't know how it
hope
works.
for the
Like,
best.
yeah. There's like some double spin thing and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just know they're taking a cut.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like we fall for like this like media narrative on so many things so often. And the reality is, if you kind of look at things that are similar, you don't understand what the hell those are either.
Right.
You know
But
what
you
I
don't
mean?
question
So
them.
we
Just
just
do
don't
it.
because
Yeah.
Because it's normal.
It's
That's
normal.
very
It's because
true.
it's
Right.
new. I feel like people are always skeptical and very what's what I'm looking for? Just negative towards
right.
things they don't understand.
Well,
Right.
and then negative
Right.
things happen, like FTX, which is
Oh,
tied to
God, and they're
Bitcoin.
like,
So
this
they're
is
"Oh,
why."
Bitcoin is bad, but you
Mhm.
don't actually
Right.
know why.
They don't, and there is an active effort to knock Bitcoin down from a variety of different angles and for a variety of different groups. A lot of times, if you look at the FUD, which we basically is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that gets pumped out by different groups. If you back into it and boil it down, I've seen a bunch of these studies that were done by like Bank of America, JP Morgan,
Right.
all these groups that are like, well, you don't want this to succeed. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to talk about the
Misaligned
energy
incentives,
usage,
yeah.
but we don't talk about, look, there's a ESG is talked about a lot with Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining in particular. But they only focus on the E, and then it's environmental stuff, but it's like, oh, energy consumption. They don't talk about the S or the G.
Right.
And the S is like the social utility. What is going on with it? What are you using this energy for? If you would look at it from that standpoint and not look at just like the naivete that we have in America about what other people live in around the world, there's a huge social value to Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining in particular because of what it can do for bringing power to places that don't have it right now.
Right.
These other countries that are around the world, they don't have the money to go build out grid infrastructure to develop undeveloped areas in their country. Bitcoin mining, and this has been evidenced by what's going on in Africa right now with my boy Marshall Long, it's a way to monetize grid infrastructure development in areas that would not normally get it.
I have a question about that because I did listen to y'all's episode.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very cool. My question was, though, like, how do they monetize it? Is it because they're getting
They're running
the
machines.
Bitcoin?
Right.
Okay.
So like think about it like this. Like if I'm going to Africa or El Salvador, wherever, El Salvador's got like 60% of their country's undeveloped.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing people think about. Like there's so many people who live in San Salvador. Well, they don't have grid infrastructure in other areas of the country. Like you have to, I don't want to go live in the jungle where I don't have any type of power and I can't, you know, take a shower or like,
Right.
like there's a lot of reasons why they continue to just pile up in these cities and they don't have the money to go develop these undeveloped areas. Well, I could take, if I was a country like that, I could say, look, we can go mine Bitcoin. We can go build a solar facility out here. There's nobody that lives there, not yet. Develop the grid and mine Bitcoin with it. And for the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to mine Bitcoin out there, generating revenue and generating a return. And while people then start moving out there because now there's power,
Right.
I can start diverting the power away from the mining facility and send it to
into
the
the-
residential
okay.
commercial development.
Yeah.
And so then you generate jobs, housing, tourism, all types of things. And you can do it strategically wherever you want within the country. So it's honestly, it's a super simple thing. It's
Right.
like, I get paid just because I want to join a mining pool and I'm going to run these machines off this solar facility that's out there now. I can start generating some income that starts paying down that facility. Geothermal, hydro, whatever it may be. It's like,
Right.
okay, we can afford to put this out here now because we can now monetize it.
Right.
It's like having we call it like the buyer of last resort. So it's a consumer of that electricity and you're going to get paid for it. So it allows you to take money that you wouldn't normally afford to be able to put somewhere and put it into grid development.
There will also be a panel on that at Empower.
Yeah.
You guys
Come
better let me
learn
on one
more.
of these.
You
man.
just answered our first rapid fire question. Why should we care about?
Wait, before we
Bitcoin.
go into rapid fire,
Ooh, I'm scared. Uh-oh. It's nervous.
No, it'll be
You already
easy.
answered the first one.
explain
that
the
is a good
difference
one.
between Bitcoin and crypto.
Oh, yes.
So a lot like
Mhm.
2016, I was actually in the crypto space.
Really?
Yeah, I was like a community manager, moderator. I was in a bunch of these Telegram groups.
Yeah.
I moderated everything. I was like
Really?
marketing
Yeah.
these ICOs.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this was like the biggest.
That was like the
eye-opening.
day too.
It was insane. So these people I mean, they were crazy. And the amount of money that people were putting into these ICOs with no product or anything, like nothing developed.
Right.
I don't think any of the companies I worked for actually lasted. I mean,
Really?
I really don't think
Yeah.
anything. They were selling the coins before
there was even like a product.
there was no
probably.
technology. There was a
Right.
thought.
Right.
There was no coins.
And
There
that-
was nothing.
that is unfortunately gets tied to Bitcoin a lot for people that are not really knowledgeable on it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because it's not related to Bitcoin at all. And it's actually, in my opinion, like the antithesis of Bitcoin. Bitcoin does not have a group that can go sell Bitcoin
Right.
just to generate a bunch of revenue based off this crazy idea.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin is, in my mind, a store value that is equivalent to like, and I know a lot of people would disagree, I don't care, like a digital type of gold, right? This is one where I believe Bitcoin can revolutionize the way that we interact with each other from a monetary standpoint. These other assets, and that's mainly because there's not one person, one group, anybody controls it. They can't all of a sudden decide, you know what, we know there's 21 million Bitcoin, but no, we're going to make it 42 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Vitalik, Ethereum, all these, all these other groups and coins, they can do that.
Yeah.
As we've seen with Ethereum going to POS, proof of stake.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something that can happen in Bitcoin. And theoretically, I guess it could. You have to have 51% of the network, though. It's not going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
It's virtually almost impossible in my mind. So there are ways it could happen, but it'd be very, very difficult. So it's in my mind and in my opinion, it's almost an incorruptible system, which is what I want my money tied to. I don't want my money subject to the whims of some dude. And I don't know if you've seen Vitalik, but that ain't the dude I want my money tied to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So can
All these
anyone
crypto
just, like,
boys
create their own?
Oh yeah, anybody
Coin?
can. And that there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a
That's wild.
reckoning.
That's
I'm telling you.
wild.
I also think it kind of sucks for blockchain technology because I think there's a lot of power in the blockchain and a lot of cool things that could come from it. But it's all clouded with people trying to create all these coins and
Right. You're right. And it's unfortunate. This is what happens in life so many times. You know what I mean? It's like there's good things, but people realize the good in it and then they try to take advantage of it and they destroy it. And so it's like, because a lot of the maxis, they just hate the term blockchain. They hate all this. And I get it. But it's like, I do see the value in blockchain. I come from the oil and gas world. There's a lot of applications where it make a lot of sense and like help smooth things out or like speed things up, make it more efficient. But unfortunately, you've got all these freaking crypto bros that are out there just trying to monetize. And I don't want to use too foul language, but basically, like,
You can say that for it if you
it's
want.
it's the same. Like
people over.
No, I feel like crypto is like also the same as NFTs, and I just feel like they're
It's a fad.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
It's a whole
Yeah.
NFT is a whole other thing. I'm like, what does that even mean? What does it stand for? What does it mean?
We're not getting into that today.
No, we're not.
We'll be here forever.
That is true.
We're late to our
I don't
dance
know
party.
a whole lot about it. Yeah, you guys got a dance party to go to. So.
But you did, to Jules's point, you did kind of answer her first rapid fire.
You did why we should care about Bitcoin. Number 2 is just like, what's the number one misconception about the Bitcoin industry?
Well,
In
I
your
think that the energy use is bad.
Yeah.
Right? I think that is such a bad way to think of things because, again, when you look at energy consumption, I think that you have to evaluate its use case. And then people that say there's no value to Bitcoin. I heard a guy on Rogan the other day talking about it. And he's a pretty respectable dude. He's actually, I think he's from Missouri, at least went to school in Missouri, which is unfortunate because I'm from Missouri as well. And I just always brag about Missouri. And then I had this dude in there talking about Peter Zahan. He's a sharp guy, enjoyed everything else he had to say. I think he's completely wrong on that. But that is probably the biggest misconception. There's no value to it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a use case. And the energy consumption then doesn't justify it being
Existing,
in
right,
existence. Yeah. So that to me is the biggest misconception because, again, as evidenced by like what's happening in Africa
Mhm.
and El Salvador, it's like, no, bringing banking or some system of banking to people is one of the best ways to enhance their lifestyle and their livelihood. And like people in El Salvador, hardly anybody had access to banking.
Yeah.
This is a way to where it's like, look, is it a bank? No. But is it a way to basically hold your money and not have to be sticking cash under your mattress?
Yeah.
Yes. So
It's
Well,
improving
their
their
quality
quality
of
very
naive.
very naive.
When I feel like there are some countries where the government, and I would assume therefore banking system, is super corrupt.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This completely mitigates that risk of just getting fucked over by your own government.
Right.
Very good point, Sydney. That you're taking the power out of the bank's hands
Yeah.
and the government saying put it in yours. And another one is like you look at the trucker rallies up in Canada. If you remember, the government steps in and starts
They lock their
locking
accounts.
people's accounts
shit.
and shutting them
Yeah.
down and not allowing them to donate to certain things, forcing fundraising groups to turn over information to them, and then they go and literally start punishing people over that. Bitcoin eliminates that.
Yeah.
I can send money wherever I want, peer to peer. I don't need some government lackey authorizing me to send money wherever I wanted to send it.
Damn.
Yeah.
What a fucking concept.
I know.
That someone came
That
up,
really
this
put it in
group
perspective.
came up with this and like thought it all out.
It's remarkable.
Mhm.
I honestly, I've thought that same thing. I'm like, man, I don't want to sound like over the top or like, I don't know, hyperbolic in my rhetoric, but it's remarkable. It's like,
It is.
it is genius.
Even if
It's
you're not,
genius.
even if you don't want to buy in,
Right.
you still have to admit it's a pretty fucking
Right.
genius
Right.
idea.
I agree
Mhm.
completely. It's to think it out the way they did.
Mhm.
I'm not a computer nerd, but I'm like, holy shit, these motherfuckers are smart. 'Cause
Right.
this
Satoshi,
For
wherever you
real.
are,
Yeah,
you smart
damn.
motherfucker.
is right. It's impressive. Very impressive. So-
Jules, number 3, last
Number
one,
3,
best
last
one.
one. What's your most embarrassing story?
Oh.
In your career.
in my career.
Yeah,
Okay.
Work-wise.
We'll eliminate your most
let's do
embarrassing.
Just I like that.
Most
Whatever one you
embarrassing.
wanna tell.
Oh my gosh, let's see. Oof. There's some that are not air appropriate at all. I can tell you my most embarrassing in my career.
Okay.
I'll tell you that one for sure. I was
We'll
working
settle
at
for it.
Anadarko, and I like to fancy myself a basketball player. And we had a basketball court at Anadarko, right? And I do have some friends, and they're going to listen to this, and they're going to fucking die laughing when they hear me talk about it, because they actually have pictures of what I looked like after this happened. But there was a dude that I was playing against. He was like 6'7", big old guy. He's an accountant, of course. And I won't say his name because I don't want to put him on blast, but there's only like one 6'7" accountant in the world. And
It's him.
Yeah,
It's
so
him.
I like drove to the middle of the lane and I like pump faked, and he jumped, and I tried to like kind of go around him, and his hip hit me in the nose, shatters my nose, just
Oh,
explodes it.
no.
I like saw white, and I go down on my hands and knees, and I hear everybody making fun of me, but I can't like see anything. And I look up, and the first thing I see is my buddy's face, Parker Ald, and he's looking at me. He's like laughing, and then his face goes, and I was like, "What?" And I felt the blood just come out, and I mean, my nose it's already big. It was enormous. Enormous.
Wait, did you say that there was a photo?
There is a photo. There is a photo out there.
We're going to
Well, in
insert
his-
it.
I know. I'm not
It's
going to
not
ask
done.
if we can insert it.
I'm sure my buddy Cade would have this photo, and he would love to send it out. But so then I go to the sideline, bleeding everywhere, you know, and somebody thought there was a fight because it sounded like a punch, right? And they come down like, "Oh my gosh, you know, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm really not
I am
okay.
not
at all.
okay.
I'm not
Not at all." A girl comes down and hands me a tampon to stick in my nose.
You're lying.
And I'm like, no. She's like, do it. This is what they do in the military. And I'm like, I'm up here with like, this is like a frat house. Anadarko was like a frat house at the time. And I'm like, if you think I'm sticking a tampon in my nose right now
And
in
it's
front
actually
of all
going to
my
stop
friends,
that kind of bleeding?
You did it.
I did it. I ended up doing it.
Have you guys seen She's the Man with Amanda Bynes?
Yes.
Oh, did that happen?
Yeah, they do it there. in the
Yeah.
movie.
So, I ended up sticking a tampon in my nose at Anadarko.
On both
So-
sides.
Yeah.
No, just one.
Well, that's what I'm
Just
like.
one.
If it's coming out both sides, did it stop
Can
the
you
bleeding?
breathe? Yeah.
Oh no, I even had a little piece had pierced the skin up here.
Oh.
Like it
Jesus.
shattered.
Some
Yeah, it was
bony
bad.
hips.
Oh yes, it was perfect hit.
God.
But yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. So
That's a
and
good
I missed
one.
my vacation after that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Did you work at
Embarrassing and
Anadarko? I
painful.
heard their holiday parties were a
it
little
was
wild.
dope. We had
Were you there when they had Maroon 5?
yeah, it was. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we had Maroon 5. We had
What?
Zach Brown band.
Yeah.
Are
When
you
Maroon
serious?
5 came, like I didn't see my wife like the whole night. I'm pretty sure that
She was like,
she
where's
was
Adam
like,
Levine?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
fucking blame
yeah.
her.
She was backstage.
I'd be right there
right.
too.
It was definitely like, whoa, I've not seen her for like 4 hours, but you know.
She was thriving. I'm
yeah,
sure.
oh, yeah, she was
She
definitely,
definitely was.
enjoying her time. I'm very, very confident of that.
I
So,
love it.
yeah, it was
That's
incredible.
awesome.
Christmas parties are great. I don't think they do that anymore.
They don't.
Yeah.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, can you get invited and invite us?
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
no,
how can
well,
I get
Oxy-
into
Oxy
these
does
elite
that.
oil and gas
Oh, right. I
parties?
forgot they
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, I don't know if they happen like that anymore. I think
Really?
they kind of with the downturn really
I
kind of
heard,
squashed that.
I don't know about the band portion of it,
Mhm.
but I heard the KPMG was pretty wild this year
I bet
from
yeah.
some reliable sources.
Inside sources.
Inside source.
I need to get invited to these.
Oh, they're a
Get
good
us
time.
invited.
No, Jules, you need a finance bro boyfriend that works for
Oh.
one of these
Finance
How
bro.
can I
companies.
get my surf
that will get
inserted-
us in.
inserted in these
If
parties?
everyone gets +1s, Julie and I will go with whatever little 25-year-old bro needs a date.
Yeah.
We'll just show up.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
be
you
like,
get it.
hey,
Well,
they're
sure.
both not single, but they're
They'll go
really
as your
fun.
friends.
We'll have a good
And you're going to have a good time.
I'll tell you, there's maybe not a lot of 25-year-old ones. There's a lot of like 65-year-old dudes that would love to
Oh,
take
we'll
you
go
guys.
the other
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
It would probably be more fancy that way too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
The older dudes.
Yeah, they definitely take you to better pre-dinners and all that. It's, yeah.
Take us in the limo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like where your head's at.
All right, 65-year-old dudes.
We're available.
Hit us up.
Yeah.
Holiday party +1s for hire.
Hit me up on LinkedIn, Julianne Talent bio. I love to dance.
That is her LinkedIn bio.
Is
I
it
love
really?
to dance. Yeah.
I love to dance.
All right. I like that.
Oh, but then it's like, oh wait, this is a professional platform. I know.
You followed that up with, oh wait, this is a professional platform.
And then it's like marketing and digital outcomes.
well, this is great.
Justin, thank you so much.
Yeah, no.
I feel like I learned a shit ton.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
you did.
Well,
I mean,
stuff that I feel like when I read stuff like this, I still don't understand it.
Like the
Yeah.
whole FTX thing. I'm like, what was happening? And now
And I've
I
tried.
to
understand.
me,
Yeah.
allegedly, that's my lawyer way of protecting myself. Allegedly, it's a Ponzi scheme, in my opinion.
yeah.
Like that's literally what it
100%,
was. Is
for
that
sure.
they were taking money from somebody else and
Putting it here
Putting
and
it
then
here,
taking it
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Taking it there.
And
I mean-
surprise, they have no money.
right. And it blows my mind that groups like Sequoia and these groups would give money to what I've heard and what I've read. I don't know that whether it's
Yeah.
actually factual, but not even having an accounting department or a CFO.
Celebrities too.
right.
We're all in.
It blows
Mhm.
my mind. Blows my mind that I've raised money with private equities, and it's like there was no way that they would do
Right.
Yeah.
something
Right.
like this. So it's really, I don't know. It's very
Wild.
interesting to me.
What a time to be alive.
Very
Yeah,
much.
right?
Julie, do we have any announcements? I'm sure we do.
We do. We have Wine Night coming up February 1st.
Yes,
This
at
isn't coming
Drift.
out.
At Drift.
right? Yeah. At
Same
Drift,
spot.
6 p.m.
Be there
Yeah.
or be square.
Yes.
Yep. And then we have Energy Tech Night February 9th.
Night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm
I
excited.
I have
Tech
not
night.
been
You
to
better
an
be
Energy Tech.
there.
I'm gonna
Are
go.
you coming?
I'll
You
go.
better
yeah.
be
I have not
there.
been to one yet. So
They're fun.
Good.
They're
I'll
they're
go.
definitely
I'll
one of
go.
my favorite
They are
events. They're
Winter's
fun.
going home with the gold chain this time.
Yeah.
Oh,
no
you know,
belt.
though, I
Shit
do
is
have
about to get
say,
real.
I'm going to be in Bahrain on February 9th.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
What's
Bahrain.
Bahrain?
Actually, we might need to cut this part. I can't maybe say that.
What is
out loud.
Bahrain?
It's a country.
Scratch that.
Over in the Middle East. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, lucky for you, we have 3 more Energy Tech nights. So you have
Perfect.
your choice
You
of
can
Denver,
come down to
Oklahoma
Midland.
City, or
Oh.
Midland.
I
Come to
like
Denver. Come to
yeah,
Denver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Denver. I like that.
Yeah, come on.
It's a
It'll be
club.
fun.
Oh, is
the
it really?
venue is a club.
It is a club.
Ah, that sounds fun.
It's a night club.
A club.
It's a
Ooh,
club.
I'm old, so what is the difference in a club and a club?
No. Nothing.
Wait, actually,
Rapid
Sydney
fire for
taught me
Ballard.
club.
What is-
I had never.
Club.
I had
What's a
never
club?
I
heard
don't know.
that.
I don't even know. I just feel like me and my
I-
friends, because we're also
Club.
getting home, we're like, ooh, the club.
I had never heard that
I
before. And then
too.
you're like walking around the club. And so
I
now
always say it too.
me and my mom walk around and we're like, we're going to the club.
The club.
So okay,
I have no
I'm
idea.
still trying to figure out what is the difference in club and club.
It's
Is it just the way we say it?
Yes.
Is that it?
There's
Is
no
that it?
difference.
Sorry, Jules, I'm old
sorry,
here.
no, there's no
You're
difference.
actually like
Give you the
concerned. Like,
Gen
what's
Z
the
or, like-
difference?
There's
Yeah.
nothing. I don't even know where I got it or where it came from.
It's just like the cool way of saying.
It's like the cool way of
The
saying
club.
it. Okay, all right.
Next time you
I'm
go
gonna
to the
start saying
club,
that.
say I'm going
Next
to the
time
club.
I'm at the club, I'm going to the club.
You're on the
So,
club.
guys, is this the club? I don't know. I'm looking for the club.
Am I at the club?
Am I
Yeah.
Am I at the club?
Where's,
Oh,
gosh,
my
I'm
gosh.
old.
I love it.
Well, thank you for
anything
having me.
else?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
thanks
too.
for coming
Appreciate
on.
it.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for coming on.
Enjoy your
Especially short, like last minute.
Yeah,
no,
we
no
booked this,
problem.
like, 2
No
days
problem.
ago.
I'm a good filling guy, you know?
Mhm.
Whenever you need something.
If you want to learn
Call Ballard.
more,
It'll be boring.
you wanna learn
No,
more?
I feel like we definitely need like a part 2 for sure.
oh
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it. Anytime.
Yeah.
I'm totally down.
Cool.
We're actually recording an episode here in like 2 hours, so
Oh, there you go.
I might even change my shirt just so I don't look like a weirdo.
think
I don't wear the same thing every day.
You could do another shot.
Okay.
Third time's the charm.
Let's do it. Get
Yeah.
it out.
Oh,
Oh,
another
God.
shot.
But you all have to take
I'll
one
take
this
one.
time. We all got
Jules
to
will
take
one.
You need a warm up, Sydney.
which
You're getting
one?
ready to go
Which
on
one?
Cabo trip?
Which one's
I
okay?
know.
This one?
Yeah, I guess. I like.
How
You like
big a
Garrison
group deal
Brothers?
is this that you guys are going on?
Oh, it's just me and my boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was our Christmas present
Oh, nice.
to each other.
nice.
We
Yeah.
decided to do a trip
tiny,
instead
Yeah.
of.
Oh, shit.
Joel's like
That is good.
tiny.
Yeah. Can I put a little Coke in it? Is that?
You want
Are
some,
you taking one?
You want
I'll
some
take it.
sody in your shot?
There we go.
That's you do like a tiny
Just
bit
a
more.
little baby. Okay. I can do that. That's enough. Jules.
Oh, I hit the bottle? Oh, thank gosh. Thank God.
Pick your poison.
Ooh.
All right.
See, now
Cheers.
this is the
Ooh.
definition of a
Ooh,
club.
we're in the club.
Let's go to the club.
Energy 101 club.
Oh. All right.
Ooh.
Man.
Like and
Thank you.
subscribe.
Guys, how do y'all take
Like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
like
Bye.
and subscribe.